Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6. So we are just over 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks until we are released from the Speed Force finally and have the Flash back on our screens. Well, that is if this video is uploaded on Monday American time, which is Tuesday Australian time. Anyway. Now, we might have gotten another Flash trailer by the time this goes up. I'm just basing that off the fact that Supergirl was scheduled to get a new extended trailer for their first episode, which by the time this video comes out, would have already been released and be on YouTube. If that new Flash trailer has not come out yet, we should hopefully get it sometime this week, hopefully. So keep your eyes out for that, I guess. But in this video, we are going to be going over a handful of things, which include some new stuff regarding Kid Flash for not only this season of The Flash, but also Crisis on Infinite Earths, some insight into the last few episodes before Crisis for this season of The Flash, and also some new information on Killer Frost and the big bad for the first half of the season, that of course being Bloodwork. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to leave all your various opinions, thoughts, and just all of those things in the comments section down below. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're just excited for the Flash to finally be back, why not drop a like on the video to show that support and hype. But yeah, the first thing we're going to go over in this video is the stuff involving Wally West, obviously, aka Kid Flash on the show. So last season we had Wally West, and I think it was only episode 1 of The Flash season 5, and I think that was it. We were told he would be in like 3 or 4 episodes throughout the rest of the season. I think we were actually told specifically he was going to show up in 2 episodes or 3 episodes in the back half towards the end, but we only got that 1 episode in episode 1, which just confused everyone and angered some as well. Like, why would you tell us this stuff and then just not let it happen, you know, and just not tell people, okay, it's not happening because he's busy or something. It was weird. But at San Diego Comic-Con earlier this year, leading into the new season, The Flash, that we have in like 2 weeks' time, we were told that Kenan Lonsdale, who plays Wally West, would be back for a multi-episode arc later on in the season. Now, we weren't specifically told when or how many episodes, because they just said multi-episode. There was some people saying he said 2 episodes, but I can't remember him saying that. I was at the thing. I just remember hearing him say multi-episode. But yeah, it was just we were just told that Wally would be teaming up with the Flash to take on one of the Flash's greatest enemies, who I think everyone is assuming is either the big bad for the second half, whoever that might be, or maybe it's Reverse Flash again. Who knows? But over the weekend that has just gone by, we had Oz Comic Con in Brisbane, go down, where Kenan was. Now, he will be at Sydney Comic Con this weekend coming, and I'll also be at Oz Comic Con Sydney this coming weekend. So if you're going, feel free to keep your eye out for me. If you see me, come up and say hi. I'm willing to talk, and we might dab and floss together. Maybe not the dabbing, definitely the flossing though. But yeah, I will play you the clip from his panel that went down now. You can watch it, and then we'll delve into it more after we watch it. So here you go.
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to know if Kid Flash is going to be in Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover.
Kid Flash is not going to be in the crossover, but Kid Flash is returning. Kid Flash is returning, yes. And it's going to be good. We just want to make sure that we, are able to then deliver a story that, that the fans love, and we're going to be able to do that. It's pretty exciting.
So yeah, it's pretty simple. A girl in the audience just asked if he was going to be in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Kenan, God, I'm mixing up the character and the actor. Kenan does confirm that Kid Flash won't be in Crisis. Obviously, he could be lying, but we'll just go off his word. Let's just pretend that he's telling the 100% truth. So he won't be in Crisis, but he will be in the show later in the season. Which is exciting. Like, the way he talked it up, it means like it sounds like they're gonna almost like respect the Wally character. I think Kenan in the past was getting annoyed because he basically was pretty much like what Wally was on the show. Like, he was just on the side. Like, I guess you would feel the same if you were that character you're playing, because Wally just got no attention, and like in season 5 would have been cool to have him there, but pretty much every scene he could have been in would have been Nora. Like, Nora took that scene. Like, Nora sort of ruined season 5, to be completely honest. I think everyone thinks that. But it will be interesting to see how they use him this season, who they take on, and maybe how they possibly wrap up Wally's story, because that's a big theory going around. I sort of agree with that maybe they might wrap up Wally's story this season, and Kenan might officially completely leave that role. But in regards to him not being in Crisis, it's a bit weird, because fair enough, other stuff going down and he doesn't show up, like, fair enough, but This is crisis. Like, this isn't just like, you know, Central City's in danger or like a hospital's going to blow up or something and the Flash can deal with it. This is the fate of the multiverse. Like, every hero that exists should be taking part in it. Like, what excuse does he have? He can't be, you know, doing an assignment or meditating in China or whatever he's been doing in the past. Like, how are they going to make sense of him not being in crisis, but then have him show up later in the season? Like, that'll be interesting. That's the thing I'm most interested in, because it doesn't really make too much sense to me. Like, I'm going to be completely honest there. But you know what? I don't want to be negative about it, because, as I said, last season was a big, you know, just confusion cluster bomb of just annoyance when they didn't really give us any clarity about Wally. And we were basically expecting him almost to like surprisingly show up, because they weren't telling us anything, and then just it didn't happen. So yeah, let's just see what they do. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Wally when he comes back in later in the season. But it is a bit disappointing he won't be in crisis if we believe what Keenan is saying here, and let's just go with that and saying he is telling the truth, but he could be lying and Kid Flash could surprisingly show up. Who knows? Now, one more little tidbit about Cameo, not the website, Crisis. God, I've got words mixed up in my brain. Another little tidbit about Crisis. Now, don't take this as fact. This is a rumor going around, but it is being, you know, talked about by people I know that are, you know, linked, if that makes sense. And they're saying that the Crisis cameos throughout, obviously, the event. So, you know how we've got people that have been cast, like Tom Welling's back as Clark Kent from Smallville. We have, Kevin Conroy as an older Bruce Wayne. Burt Ward's playing a character in the crossover, and certain things like that. I've heard from these people that these cameos in Crisis could literally be all in like in a montage of some form, and like these characters that will appear will have like 5 to 10 seconds maximum. Don't take this as fact. This is what's being said, or it might be only the case for a couple of characters, especially maybe like characters like Burt Ward and maybe Kevin Conroy's Batman, where maybe they might find it hard to put them in scenes. But I don't know. If that's the case, I think a lot of people might be disappointed, and it sort of makes you wonder why they hyped it up so much. I'm only believing it because certain people I know are saying it, but I tend not to believe it because it just makes me think that, like, why would you hype it up and then disappoint people like that? That's the only reason I don't believe it, but feel free to let me know what you think of that in the comments. But yeah, as I brought up in my most recent Flash news sort of video before this one, there were 3 episode titles released, those being the titles for episodes 5, 6, and 7 of The Flash Season 6, which, as you can see on screen right here, episode 605 is Kiss Kiss Breach Breach, 606 is License to Elongate, which we already knew, and episode 607 is The Last Temptation of Barry Allen, Part 1. Now, with 605, we know that's the episode where Breacher, or Josh, comes back into the picture. It's obviously going to be a big Cisco episode. It will be interesting to see what they do. Is it Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the movie that's going off? Anyway, honestly, those 3 episodes are all based off movie titles, by the way. Just a little bit of a fun fact there. But it'd be interesting to see what they would do with like the whole Kiss, with the whole Breacher thing coming in Cisco, because there's been stuff said that like Carlos Valdez, who plays Cisco, hasn't been on set lately, so maybe he takes a break after this, maybe until Crisis. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't know. Let me know what you think of those titles in the comment section down below. But with episode 7 specifically, it does look like this will be a 2-parter with episode 8, which is the last Flash episode before the Crisis event kicks off. But there is some speculation from some people that episode, or part 2 might I say, could be later in the season, you know, after Crisis, but I would sort of be shocked if that was the case, so I don't really believe that. But in episode 7, we do know there is some weird stuff going on in that episode with specifically Barry and Ramsey Rosso, aka Bloodwork. But what does that title mean? What does The Last Temptation of Barry Allen indicate at, or just mean? Well, it does seem that the title is a nod to the movie The Last Temptation of Christ, and based off some set photos we got, there will be a solid take on the last temptation that Jesus Christ, you know, your boy, faces in that film. In the case of the movie, it was Satan, or Satan, however you want to pronounce it, taking on the form of a child, putting like Jesus into a dreamlike state where he sees himself go on to live a normal life as a regular guy back in those days, before breaking free of that upon learning that Satan had, or what Satan had done, and that Satan had sort of just misled him. So in The Flash, I could see Barry taking the form of Jesus, not actually becoming Jesus, but just, you know, in the story, you know, being Jesus. You know what I'm saying there? And Bloodwork being the Satan type character, but probably a bit more present whilst Barry is going through this dream state, if that is actually what's going down. But what would Barry, you know, experience through this? Like, what is the temptation that Barry would face? Well, we know that Michelle Harrison is back as Nora Allen, Barry's mum, and she just isn't back like the actress. She has been noted down as Nora Allen for episode 7. So what we could possibly see is Barry's life still as the Flash. We know that due to set photos, but possibly a life where Barry is the Flash, but his mother was never killed. So we're going off assumptions here, but pretty much the original timeline version of the Flash. Now, to me, this sounds pretty plausible, as it seems that Bloodwork will be messing with Barry and showing him some form of vision, and it could be in an attempt to stop Barry from following through with something. It is hard to tell, but based off the title, what we saw on set, and the fact that Nora Allen will be in episode 7, this does sound very, possible and plausible. But the fact that this will only be episode 1, or part 1 might I say, it will be interesting to see what the entire arc that goes down in episodes 7 and 8 is like. Based off what we know, it could be pretty crazy, especially when you remember that the week after that 2-episode arc, we have goddamn Crisis on Infinite Earth starting up. It's going to be mental if this is what goes down. But to finish off the video, we actually have a question that was presented to Eric Wallace from TV Line, which was anything about the Flash's Caitlin Snow and Killer Frost, and this was the response, from Eric, and a bit of stuff from TV Line. Killer Frost is going to explore her humanity in ways we haven't seen before, and sometimes that means her being on the team more than Caitlin. That doesn't mean Caitlin is gone. Obviously, she is integral to the story because she has the connection to our big bad, Bloodwork, aka Dr. Ramsey Russo. But some of the fun, some of the sadness, and some of the mysteries from Killer Frost's past that we haven't really been able to deal with, now we can. And then TV Line put at the end, speaking of Dr. Russo, played by Senthil Ramamurthy, Wallace says it's a definite possibility that Killer Frost will have her own take on Caitlin's handsome colleague. In regards to that last bit, I don't know if they mean that, I don't know. Let me know what you think of that at the end, because it's sort of hurting my brain. But yeah, in regards to the Killer Frost stuff, we already knew that Killer Frost was going to have a bit more of screen time this season, and that she was going to do more Caitlin things as Killer Frost, if that makes sense. It will be interesting to see how that goes, because there has been some, some comedic moments with that. But I think they might want to go in a bit more of a serious take, because they are trying to make Killer Frost more of a good character than sort of like that yin and like that dark side of Caitlin, if you want to call it. Even though last season they sort of steered away from that anyway. She is basically a hero now, but I think they want to really cement that and maybe take away the killer away from Killer Frost. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know all of your various opinions in the comments section down below. What are your certain thoughts on maybe the original timeline Flash coming back and all of that? And your thoughts on the Wally West situation. Interested to see what you guys have to say about that. But yeah, until next video, guys, I'll catch you later. Goodbye.